Hi, this is Judah from Home Media Spot. Today what I'm going to install is Rasplex, which is Plex media server for your Raspberry Pi. It's actually a pretty cool deal, this Rasplex. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to mess around with Plex media server before, but it's very simple. It's real easy to use. So what we're going to do first is make sure you grab your Class 10 SD card, and we're going to go to Rasplex.com. This is a two-step process. The first part is we're going to go ahead and flash the SD card. So we're going to do this, and I'll cover the second part in a minute here. So we're going to choose your operating system. We're going to go ahead and click download. Take a couple seconds for this to pop up here. Go over here, Rasplex installer. Click install. Download will start in just a few seconds. And we should have it here shortly. One of the things, if you haven't had a chance to check this out, what it's going to require us to do on the second part is actually install Plex Media Server onto a computer, which we have to have running in order for it to work correctly on your Raspberry Pi. What's a little bit different between this and the Expian is that everything is run off of your computer, so response time is a lot quicker on your Raspberry Pi than with the Rasplex as opposed to the Expian. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. This part of the install is very similar to what we did for the Expian as well. So you're going to want to go ahead and insert your SD card at this time. Just take a second, pop up there. And first thing we're going to have to do here is download. It's automatically going to default to the latest release date. Click download. It'll just take a few minutes to do so. While that's downloading, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll go over to this part and we'll actually go and install the Plex Media Center on here. And once after this is done downloading right here, we're going to go ahead and image that to the card. So for this part, now we're going to go ahead and get started. What's pretty cool about Plex Media Server as well is that you actually don't need to set up an account. It will download automatically. And you can log in. So click right there. Once again, choose your operating system. I'm working with Windows. Download English. This will take a few seconds to download here. Let's check back on this. So it does take what I've noticed, it does take a little bit of time here to download. No big deal, but you know, some patience. That's what you got to have. Alright, looks like we're done right here. The setup on this is really basic too. It's real quick. And what I like about this reminds me a lot of the user interface. Reminds me a lot of Boxy. How Boxy goes ahead and it pulls in all the information about the movie, categorizes it for you, so you're not looking at an entire list of file after file. So, and this is a pretty quick install too on this Plex. If you haven't had a chance, check out our forum on homemediaspot.com. Doesn't matter how much you know or how little you know, it's a great place to learn. I've built that website. It's not a for-profit, it's for fun. It's a hobby of mine. So if you get a chance, check it out, and I'll be updating information such as this on there. So let's go ahead and open this up. So one of the things you'll notice too once you have this installed, and this was something that I did as well. So if you click on Plex right here, nothing pops up. So what it'll do, it always pops up in the corner right here. So you're going to need to right click that and go Media Manager Plugin. And then over here we're going to go ahead and add a selection. We can pick which selection we want. So if we're doing movies, TV show, music, photos, I'm going to go ahead and add movies today. We're going to add a folder name, browse folders. Okay, so if you see right here, this is something that I ran into. It's a simple fix. This is the SD card which we have in there. Let's check this real quick, see where we're at. Still downloading. Alright, and then this is your C drive. If you have a network hard drive, it's not going to be recognized in here. So what you need to do is actually manually go in and map that network hard drive. So what we're going to do, I'm right over here, my Big Daddy NAS, that's me. Go down here, our movie folder, and we're going to go ahead and map that network drive and assign it. So that'll be drive Z, which is fine with me. There's all the movies listed in there. So now we go back here and we need to add this. We're going to go ahead and browse, and here you go, you got Z showing. We're going to add that and save. So what that's going to do now is start adding all the movies in there. So what I'll do right now, I'll go ahead and pause this. I will come back in a few minutes once these have been loaded up, and right before this is ready to do the install, and I will show you a little bit more. Alright, and we are back. So it looks like it had finished downloading. Real simple process. We're going to go ahead and write the SD card. So obviously if you have anything on there that's of important information, my recommendation is save it somewhere else because it will be deleted. So go ahead and click yes. So it'll go ahead and start writing this SD card. This will take a few minutes. What I want to show you guys a little bit about, which I really like about this, and I mentioned earlier about, it's similar to the Boxy user interface. So you click on Movies right here, and it categorizes all your different movies for you here, draws it with a cover page. Let's use this one as an example. My son's favorite. I don't know why he loves this movie, but it just is. So it gives you a little excerpt about the movie, the actors. You can actually play it right on here, which is really nice. And let's go back here. This is one other feature that I like as well, is that you can actually add channels on here. So they have different channels, and this will carry over onto your Rasplex once you turn it on. So for instance, like my fiance, she always loves listening to music. So we go over here to most popular. You can click to install Pandora, right? So that's always nice. It doesn't take too terribly long, and any changes that you make over here will transfer right over to your Raspberry Pi. And something that I thought was cool about this too is I have a couple Boxy boxes in the house already, but we could do things such as, my fiance's son, we don't trust him with the Boxy box, or we want to control what programs he watches. We can go ahead and put that in the other room too. And the Raspberry Pi, fortunately enough, the kid can play around with it and don't have to worry about breaking it because it's only about $50. So we have it over here. Pandora was installed. We'll just kind of do a over here so you can have your stations. It has all the information. Probably going to ask me to log in here. I'm not going to worry about getting that all set up right now, but just want to give you guys a quick little show. All right, and as soon as this is done, it looks like maybe it did not write it. Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and we'll make sure that that gets written. So the next one will be back. I'll go ahead and load up the Raspberry Pi. All right, so I have just plugged in the Raspberry Pi, taken the SD card from my laptop, which I've just burned that Plex media or Rasplex onto, and now I've plugged it in over here. One of the things I mentioned earlier, and this is the only way you're going to make sure that everything is working properly, is that you need to have your Plex media server that needs to be on, and make sure everything's added to there. What I'll show you in a few moments here, as soon as this loads up. Load time's always a little bit slower, but once this loads up here, you'll see how that Pandora transferred over, as well as we're able to all the movies which we had mapped on our drive through Plex media server was on there. So just a moment here, should be loading up. The nice thing is you can just use a keyboard, plug this in, go find your movie, then remove it if you don't have a wireless keyboard. So just a basic setup. Choose your language, English. If you want to do a host name, you can, but I don't really bother with any of this. Just make it real simple. Tells me I'm wired right now, my IP address, and keep going through, configure services. Like I said, I don't do any advanced on this. It's real basic. So load up here. Same thing that I ran into with Expian was the screen size. So we're just going to go down here and we're going to go under Preferences. We're going to go to Appearance. We'll just shrink the screen size down a little bit. We'll just zoom it out. I think 4% should be good. There we go. That's perfect. Just escape. And there's other settings too, and I would definitely say, hey, check them out, play around with it, see what you can find. Let me unmute this. I didn't even realize it was on mute back here. So here you go. Here's Pandora right now. That carried over. Let's go under our movies right now. As you can see, some of the movies. It's still working on adding all those movies on there when it copies over. So let's just do this one right here. Let's go ahead and start this one from the beginning. I'll show you that everything should be working fine. There you go. And this is actually the way the beginning of the movie is. But you can tell, one thing that I noticed was pretty cool about this is when you fast forward on here, one thing I noticed with the Expian, there was lag with fast forwarding. On here you can fast forward and it takes a little bit to buffer, but it's not too terribly bad, which is pretty quick. So once everything finishes loading on your Plex media server, it'll start working just fine on here as well. All your movies will be listed and categorized just how it was on there. If you like the video, check us out at homemediaspot.com. We'd love to have you join our forum and join in on the conversations. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me and we can get some tutorial videos going. Thanks so much, everyone.